as evidenced by just a couple of years ago when inflation was so rampant, can absolutely have a huge impact upon consumer behaviors, and they do still continue to do so today. If you recall back to the start of 2024, I'm looking in that crystal ball then, most people were still fairly uncertain where the economy was going to go for the rest of 2024. The most likely scenario that forecasters were predicting was kind of a soft landing for the economy, but there was no guarantee of it at that point in time. And kind of thankfully, for the most part, that is what indeed happened. But was the soft landing completely accomplished? Not quite. Certainly looking at official data and some key metrics that we've pulled out here on this particular graph, some of the big ones that are focused on most when it comes to macroeconomic things, GDP, that has definitely been solid throughout most of 2024, between 2 and 3%, and forecasts for fourth quarter are similar. Unemployment has been fairly steady for the past couple of years, right at around a 4% level, even though it's ticked up a little bit towards the end of 2024. And thankfully, and most importantly, inflation started to approach that 2% target that the Federal Reserve had established as it tightened up its money thing. But despite these very positive macroeconomic indicators, there was still quite a bit of uncertainty, unease, if you will, that consumers continued to exhibit. And we see that kind of in the mindset or sentiment. And when kind of looking to summarize or encapsulate, if you will, the mindset of consumers heading into 2025, I thought these two words really kind of were most appropriate. Challenged but willing. Challenged and willing. And that's kind of demonstrated by the up and down nature of the consumer and sentiment index data that you see in the chart on the right here. It's certainly, we're not anywhere near the lows that we had experienced in middle of 2022 or the middle of end of 2023. But we improved a bit from a dip seen in the middle of last year. But there's still some angst among consumers. And in a late poll put out by Gallup in 2024, they found that 52% of Americans at that point in time said that they and their families were worse off than they were 4 years ago. And that obviously played into some things that happened at the end of the year.